Peace to the planet. Adisa Banjoko, the Bishop of Hip Hop, chilling live and direct from sunny, almost sunny San Jose, California. Weather here has been pretty epic, and I have a very special guest on. As you know, I struggle to keep this balance between philosophy and jujitsu. Like I genuinely struggle because it's a struggle for me in terms of what I'm thinking about. And it's not that it's hard to find guests, but some of my guests are here, some of my guests are on the East Coast, and some of my guests, like this guy, are on the other side of the planet. His name is Benjamin Glyn-Phillips. He is a brown belt under the legendary icon that we all hope to be like, Roger Gracie. He also runs the Gentle Apparel clothing line, which is my favorite jujitsu clothing brand ever. And so we're going to talk about jujitsu, fashion, hip hop, hardcore music, all kinds of stuff, tattoos. So welcome to the show, and thank you for making time to be on Bishop Chronicles, man.
Thank you for having me, my friend. Really appreciate it.
So I am drinking. Everyone knows I'm a tea fanatic, right? I got my little cup here. Thank you, Sanjay, for this cup. And I have a mixture of hibiscus, cat's claw, and pu'er tea, which is a fermented tea that they make in China and Japan, and it's really good for you. And so I tend to drink mountains of tea, and that's the tea I'm drinking today. You have an interesting drink. And
So
what is
this is Robinson's orange squash, which
it?
is a very traditional British drink. It's what my wife would refer to as church squash.
And so what does this taste like? Does it taste like oranges, or does it taste
It's,
like vegetable juice? I'm trying to
no,
understand.
tastes like oranges.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Just adds a little bit of like orange flavoring to.
Is it like
It's like
Orangina, or is it more like Kool-Aid? Like, is it?
no, it's not even like either. It's more of a cordial.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
there's no like
yeah.
it's not like an orange soda. It's like just like an orange water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's cool, man. I love
But
stuff like that. I love
but
stuff like
anyone who kind of like me was forced to go to Sunday school on
that.
a Sunday morning,
You are familiar with this beverage.
you'd often get in the UK a glass of orange squash whilst you were there as a little sweetener.
Yeah, to keep you motivated between sessions, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, well, man, thank you for being on Bishop Chronicles. You train exclusively out of the Hammersmith Academy in London with Roger Gracie. Is that accurate?
Yeah, predominantly, or I do train sometimes at RGA Margate,
Mm-hmm.
which is run by my friend Junyao, who's
Nice.
one of Roger's black belts. I train with Junyao a lot, actually, as
Yeah.
much as I can.
No, that's
He he destroys me.
amazing.
Like I can't, like that's something that's going to come up a lot. But like so many people I get to train with, he's just really way better than me.
And
And
the journey of jujitsu, right, is getting mauled
yeah,
and still showing back up, right? I mean,
yeah, but also I often call training with Junyao like my ego check.
mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you're doing okay in classes and you know you're like, oh yeah, I'm starting to understand this, and then
You're like, actually,
yeah, then you go with this guy and you realize that you still know nothing. you know, you still have to work really hard to be where you want to be. So yeah, but I appreciate his teaching and his training. He's very good to me and very generous with his time.
so can you tell me a little bit about your life before jujitsu? Um, what were you doing? How were you doing it? And how did jujitsu find you?
Um, so I'd say my life before jiu-jitsu was a pretty negative place.
Mm,
I was involved in like promoting and DJing and nightclubs and things like that. I
sounds kind of
was
fun.
like yes and no. Like yes, it is fun, but then like you're not seeing any daylight and
Mm,
you're maybe indulging in that lifestyle a little bit too much. And
yeah,
I was never a drug addict or an alcoholic, but I definitely dabbled with those things too much.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Agreed.
and
Same. Yeah.
yeah, and I got into like a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
I also suffer very badly with dyslexia.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I left education at like 15, and I left feeling like I was incapable of learning.
Dang, dude. Another thing we have in common. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
I literally left school. You know, I knew I had some talents. You
You're
know,
insanely brilliant. Don't say some talents. You're
you
insanely.
know, my you know, I had like a great passion for music.
Hmm.
Um, and that sort of saw me through really, because like through that I built up like a good record collection, and suddenly someone says, hey man, do you want to DJ on Thursday night? And then suddenly I'm DJing on Thursday night and Friday night, and suddenly I'm working the door on Saturday night, and I'm DJing on Wednesday night, and I'm
Is this
DJing
in
on
London?
Monday.
And what kind of music is it?
No, this was like back in Wales.
Okay. Wales. Now,
So
Wales, for those that don't know, is south of London in as far as England
yeah,
is concerned.
it's so Wales is a country.
It's a country. See, that's how American I am.
Yeah. So Great Britain is made up of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
There we go. Northern Ireland. There we
Yeah.
go. I got it.
So
I always forget.
um yeah, so Wales is kind of like, you know, towards the sort of south coast.
Right.
It's a very different sort of place, a very different mentality, lots of built up on lots of industry like coal mining and steel.
Yeah. So it's not like London is like big city New York kind of
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
And then Wales would be, have you been to America enough to have an American
Yeah,
Wales?
I've traveled around the States quite a
So
lot.
what would you compare Wales to?
Well, obviously, like I said, Wales is like a country, but where I grew up in Swansea, you're on the coast, so you're right by the sea.
Okay.
There's quite big, like very close by, there's quite big steelworks.
It's more industry, industrial.
Yeah, most of Wales was built around coal mining and steelworks,
Okay.
like
I think that would be
industries.
like Pennsylvania
Yeah, but they're industries that aren't really there anymore. You
Mm.
know, there's not really been a lot put in its place, so it can be quite a hard place to live.
So you were DJing in Swansea
Yeah,
originally?
yeah.
And
That's
what kind of
pretty much
music
what I
was it?
did. So it depends what night. So you know, like Thursday night would be kind of like rock and metal.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night we used to do a disco night.
Okay.
Saturday night we would do like a dub night in one venue, and then like an indie music night in another venue. Monday we used to do an under 18s like rock and indie disco,
I used to
and
love
then
stuff like that when I was young, man. That was
and
gold,
then
bro.
and then after that we would do like a student night, like the same kind of thing. So you know, we'd be DJing from like 6 p.m. till like 4 in the morning. You know, and Wednesday we would do a funk and soul night.
All right.
So you know, it was like my musical taste was like quite far reaching.
Yeah.
You know, with
That's
all that
beautiful,
stuff.
man. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah, it's just kind of like doing that and getting by. You know, and then I kind of had what I call my pre midlife crisis.
Okay.
Whereas I turned 26 and I was like, I'm closer to 30 than 20. I'm incredibly out of shape. I'm really unhappy with my life. And I sort of took myself away. I kind of removed myself from that world. Um, you know, worked on myself a bit. I ended up working in a home for people with mental illness
No kidding.
because I just felt I needed to balance my karma out a little. And that was like a really good experience. And I'd always been into the UFC, like
Right.
since day one. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I had like
If you were from that era, like, and you were a man, you probably did. Like most
yeah,
men of that era, it was just mind blowing.
yeah, I had like the VHS, you know, and but I'd never really trained any martial arts at all.
Mhm.
You know, so this is like a few years after that, and my friend Rob Taylor, who now is a black belt himself. I believe he was the second black belt in Wales. He has his own academy in Cardiff. He said to me, "There's a beginner's course happening, and you should come down and do it." So he had already discovered jiu-jitsu. He was a blue belt at the time, and man, I was like, man, I've been overweight my whole life, but I was really, really overweight at this point.
When you say that, for the listeners, because this is uh, a men's group,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
men's group that I run, and my podcast is for men, and a lot of it deals with physical fitness. If you don't mind, like, where were you at your heaviest, and how did jujitsu help if it did?
So I was like 28 stone. So a stone is like 14 pounds.
28 stone.
So, we could do some quick calculations.
Yeah.
Let me go here. So 28.
392.
Yeah, 392.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So I
You guys have to see him right now, man. He looks so different. He's so
I
fit,
was
and he's
I
so
wasn't
dangerous.
yeah, I wasn't in a good place. I
Wow.
at that point,
Congratulations.
thank you, man. Thank you. It's gone up and down.
Right.
Um,
It's not a, it takes
yeah,
time.
yeah. But mate, I can remember saying to Rob, like, I wouldn't get through the warm-up.
Mm-hmm.
And his reply was, no one cares.
This is true.
He was like, no one cares. No one's there for you. Like, everyone's there for themselves. If you need to step out of the warm-up, catch your breath,
Do it.
get yourself together, come back in, do it. And I'll be honest, man, I fell in love instantly. The second I stepped foot on those mats, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And I was like, I found something here for me. And this beginner's course was 6 weeks every Saturday morning. But after that first episode, I spoke to the coach there, Chris Reese, who is one of my best friends to this day, who was the first black belt in Wales. He got his black belt from Braulio Estima. Like
Dangerous.
one of the best guys ever. Like, I did that first class, and I think I booked a private with him.
You're like, and we're starting.
Yeah. I was like, hey man, like, what else can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up booking in with a private with him, and just wanted to be there every day. And then at the end of that 6-week course, we're rolling, with like the little knowledge we have.
Yeah.
And I get someone in a rear naked choke, and he doesn't tap, and I choke him unconscious. And I had like,
he didn't recognize he was in the choke, or was he trying to be cool and pass out?
no, I think he was trying to be.
Happen.
I think he was trying to be hard and didn't want to tap.
Yeah.
And didn't realize, again, none of us really know what we're doing. So, maybe
I
didn't
remember the
realize
first time I got choked out. Right.
Yeah. And man, I had this like eureka light bulb moment where I was just like, I've just learned something. So I really, up until this point, I'm like 28 years old at this point. I really didn't believe I was capable of learning. So I never learned a musical instrument. I didn't learn how to drive. Like, I anything that was like gaining new knowledge, I avoided, because I left education feeling like I was incapable of learning.
I'm the same.
Yeah. So that moment, I went home that night and booked driving lessons. Literally that night, I learned, I was like, right, I'm going to learn how to drive. And suddenly I felt like, well, if you can learn to choke a man unconscious, you can learn to do anything. So this was like such a pivotal thing in my life. It changed everything.
What jiu-jitsu does for any human's sense of their own capability, but specifically learning, I think is one of the most underestimated, misunderstood, and underappreciated aspects of what jiu-jitsu can do for another person. Right. Because of course we inherently think of it as fighting and choking people out and, whatever. But that aspect of it what you're talking about and discovering that you're capable of more than you thought you were and how that bleeds into every other choice and action you take, bro, I totally
Yeah,
get it.
and you know, that's obviously not the only benefit
Of
of doing
course,
jiu-jitsu. You know, I often feel like I don't think I'd have asked my wife out if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu.
bro.
Like the confidence you get
Yeah.
from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, the self-knowledge, the way you stand up a little bit more straight, the way you
Yeah.
look people in the eye a little bit more directly, speak
Me,
calmly and make eye contact. So much of that comes from jujitsu, bro.
yeah. Me before jiu-jitsu wouldn't have had the confidence
Mm.
to say, hey, you want to go out with me? Even though she said no the first time.
And my boy Gene came back. That's
Yeah.
jujitsu. What's up, girl?
No,
I'm still
you
trying to
know,
kick it. When we going now?
well, I just waited for her to ask me.
That's
You know,
right.
yeah,
I love
but
it, man.
all of that, and even that rejection of being told no straight away, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Whereas I think before jiu-jitsu would have really like, maybe hit my confidence and everything. Whereas after jiu-jitsu, it's like, all right, well, that was just like the first takedown, so I'm 2
Yeah,
points
yeah,
down.
yeah, 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 exactly. I'll be back with more.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful, man. Now, how long were you training jujitsu before you met Roger? And how did you know that his place was the right place for your journey at that time?
So, so I was training in Wales with Chris Reese,
Mm-hmm.
um, and through a friend of mine called John Donnelly. He was very close with Maurizio, Roger's
Okay.
father.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Maurizio for changing the planet.
yeah, well, he changed this country for sure.
I mean, shifted it.
Yeah. You know,
The
um,
master
but
cylinder out
he
there.
he he being the humble man he is, always says, "Oh no, though there was somebody in the UK before me," and there was, but he was the real deal.
Yeah.
He was the real deal. When he came along, it was like, all right, okay. Um, so my friend John was one of his first, I believe, 5 or 6 students,
Okay.
and I actually met John through a love of vintage denim.
Ah,
So
yes, fashion.
we both used to collect like vintage Levi's and vintage workwear and things, and we met through that. And then one day on his Instagram, he posted this photo of him and Roger as blue belts. Like
Wow.
both of them are blue belts. And I was like, man, I didn't know you knew Roger Gracie. And he's like, yeah, because his dad is my teacher. And I was like, he didn't know, we didn't know that each other, that we did jujitsu.
Wow.
It never come
Isn't
up,
that crazy?
because we always just talked about like Japanese denim and things like that. So I said, oh, I said, I train. I'm like a purple belt under Chris Reese in Swansea. And John arranged for me to come and do a private with Maurizio.
Mm,
So I came up to London, trained with Maurizio. This was also the first time I met Junyao as well, because he
okay.
was there with Maurizio helping out. And, it was just like, yeah, it was amazing. So I used to travel up from Wales maybe once or twice a month to train with Maurizio at Roger's place. Through that, I met Roger. And, um, then when I moved to London, um, I,
What year are we at now? You moved to London in what
so
year?
I moved to London like 7 or 8 years ago,
Okay.
and um, I had this weird period where I first moved up and I didn't train, just kind of getting used to
Yeah.
London life and things like that.
Where were you in London? It's so big. I'm still learning it. Obviously, I
Well,
didn't even know Wales was a country, so I'm
to
still
be
figuring
honest,
it out.
when my wife and I first moved here, we were couch hopping.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Figuring it out.
literally like staying at friends, family. Oh, a friend of mine is going away on holiday, so we can stay at their place for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we were saving up money to try and buy somewhere. Um, so it was like, yeah, we were like literally living out of a suitcase for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Mhm.
trying to save money to buy somewhere, which we sort of did eventually. We bought a place in Leighton in East London, and we're still in that area now. Our second place that we've bought.
Man,
Um,
congratulations, brother. That is
yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah, so we're very happy there. But then obviously, like through my friendship with Maurizio, I built a friendship with he. I spent some time with Roger, built a friendship with him. I was working in a tailor's at the time,
Talk
and
about
I just
fashion for a minute, man, because
yeah,
you don't just like one way in which I feel like you and I are similar is that we move through what I call portals, right?
yeah,
Like wouldn't expect it, but here I am at the hip hop thing. You wouldn't expect it, but I'm moderating a panel on artificial intelligence. You wouldn't expect it, but now we're talking about jujitsu. You move through fashion, music, and jujitsu circles at some of the highest levels, and also tattoo spaces, right? I
yeah.
mean, dude, so I mean, talk to me a little bit about the fashion stuff and
No, I think it all kind of comes back to the dyslexia thing.
mm,
So like, I really can't do anything that I'm not passionate about, because for me to get anywhere with anything, I have to work 10 times harder than your average person.
right. So you have to have the passion or it
Yeah,
won't
if I don't love it, I can't do it because it's so hard for me, you know? And it's like if I don't really want to achieve something within it, I'm just not gonna give it
be
what it
attention.
needs for me to succeed. So everything I've ever done, be it working within jiu-jitsu, and mate, within jiu-jitsu, like I've managed an academy, and I've helped set up a clothing line. I've
Mhm.
never really taught jiu-jitsu because I'm not I don't have that ability,
I doubt
to
that's a fact, but continue.
yeah, well, I don't feel I have that ability. I don't feel I'm good enough to do that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like a little different. Just certain things, man. Like I struggle with like left and rights, and
Mm,
I struggle seeing something where someone has to do it, and I'm looking at it from a different direction to where I'm doing it.
right.
All these things I really kind of like struggle with. But it just kind of comes back to the passions. It's like I've worked in music because I love music, and I've worked in the tattoo world because I love tattooing, and I
When did
love
you get your
the
first
art.
tattoo? You can't see this guy, but he is tatted pretty much from head to toe.
So I got my first tattoo actually quite late. I think I was like 24
Okay.
when I got my first tattoo, which was I got it done in my friend's bedroom with like a home tattoo kit, and it was the black flag bars.
Ooh, Black
I kind of
Flag.
yeah.
How many times have you seen Black Flag?
I've never seen Black Flag because they had sort of called it a day before
Before you got
I
into
had discovered them.
uh,
I've seen Rollins, like Henry
two.
Rollins, a few
Who'd you see
times.
him the first time with? Who'd you see Henry Rollins the first time with?
So the first time I saw Rollins live, so I've seen him do spoken word a bunch of times,
Yeah.
and then the first time I actually saw him perform was when he did that West Memphis 3 tribute thing,
Okay. Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
called the Rollins Band Perform the Music of Black Flag.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And like, it was just amazing.
Wasn't
Yeah.
he? Isn't he so special, bro?
Oh, like one of my heroes, without a
Dude,
doubt.
I just remember, I know this is gonna sound corny, but dude, just the way he looked. When you saw him, you knew he was real.
Yeah, yeah,
He just had the way his face sat, the way his body looked. You know what I mean? Like he appeared wise and formidable from the beginning. If you never heard of a picture of Henry Rollins, wise and formidable. You know
yeah.
what I mean? The first time I saw him was he did a show in San Francisco with Cypress Hill and the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, yeah,
When they first started having a band instead of just, using the turntables. And
yeah,
I remember taking a friend of mine, and he didn't know anything about the Henry Rollins Band and Black Flag at all, but I did. And so he wanted to be on the floor when we first got in there. And I said, bro, let me tell you something right now. You don't want to be where you think you want to be. I said, when this guy hits the stage, it's going to get wild. Come to the top with me. So I took him up on the second level. And once the Rollins band got active, the mosh pit was so massive. And he goes, "What are they doing?" I was starting telling him because he
But
was black. He don't know nothing about a mosh pit. I was
uh, how much has hip hop culture embraced the mosh pit now?
unbelievable. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like I'm saying unbelievable, but on some level, it also seems inevitable just because of, Run DMC and Aerosmith and you know what I mean? But it's
And
good to see it. I love it. Public Enemy, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
I speak to a lot of
dang.
people that are like, who are like, oh yeah, Odd Future brought that.
Yeah, and
And I
you're
was
like,
like,
Odd Future.
and I was like, no, but Odd Future have got legit connections to hardcore,
Yeah, yeah.
through that band Trash Talk, who they put out
Right.
their records they were friends with. But like, man, MOP
Bro.
used to have insane mosh pits. Onyx used to
Hey,
have
Onyx might
insane
have been
mosh
one of
pits.
the first consistent mosh pit crews because I think
Yeah,
Public Enemy had them at times, depending on maybe if they were touring with Anthrax,
yeah,
right? But I think after that, as far as like a straight, yeah, you're probably right. Onyx,
you
dude.
know,
Crazy.
yeah. So, but yeah, but it feels now like I saw some footage of Kendrick playing Wembley Stadium last week, and
Mhm.
everyone's going crazy. There's like a huge mosh pits everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff, man. That is really beautiful stuff. Can I ask you? Hold on, I pulled something up. Um, when it comes to training with Roger specifically, right?
yeah.
Like, what is a class with him actually like?
Um, like very detailed. His class is like very detailed focused.
Mhm.
A lot of like positional sparring. Like Roger really believes in positional sparring. Um, Training with him in terms of like rolling and sparring, it's just the worst thing in the world. It sucks.
It's like you got
It's
nothing, huh? You're just getting
man,
calls?
it's 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 something I really, really wanted to do
Yeah.
until I did it.
Mm,
It's like it's so funny because like you can tell what he's about to do, and
you can't.
you can't stop it, man. It's insane.
I mean, I obviously felt that, you know, with Half, but like the first time I remember it was with Dave Camarillo,
Yeah,
when he was like House like main assassin, you know. Um, it's a crazy feeling. And I don't think most humans, especially men, know what that's like until they experience it.
it's helplessness.
Yeah.
It's knowing that if that person wanted to, they could kill you
And you couldn't stop
and you
any
couldn't stop
aspect
them.
of the murder.
Yeah, you couldn't. And yeah, I remember Roger and I were in Austin, and we
Mhm.
were training at New Wave,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and Roger says to me the night before, he's like, "Oh, did you bring your gi?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Cool, man. We're going to train a little tomorrow." And I was like, "All right, great." And I show up, and there's like a no gi class, and wearing a gi is me, Roger, and Gordon Ryan.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, okay, you know, cool. And I had just come back from an injury. I'd torn my calf.
Hmm.
So I'd been out for quite a
You're
long time. I'd had
a
quite
little
a bad
wounded.
calf tear. And I'd been out for about 12 weeks. I'd maybe been back training for like a week or so. Then we're out in Austin, and I'm rolling with Roger, and my lungs just gave out, just totally gave out. And he sort of stops and he looks at me, and I'm like, "Sorry, Roger, I can't breathe." And he went, "Not my problem."
Oh my God.
He said, "Not my problem. You better get yourself somewhere where you can breathe."
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that is intense.
because the more he likes you, the harder those roles are.
Isn't it funny how how that is a big kind of a quiet aspect of how friendships in jujitsu go? Like
Yeah, yeah.
the more that I love you, the harder I am gonna bring this
And
pain, you know,
yeah,
and we're gonna scrap. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I love it.
And and the rest of that trip, he made fun of me about it. You know, we'd be like in the lift in the hotel, and he'd be like, "Ooh, I can't breathe." You know, just like
That
totally ripping on me for the rest of the holiday.
that's
So,
hilarious.
but the next time we rolled together, I was like, I don't care how many times I get tapped.
Mm-hmm.
I am coming forward
Mm-hmm.
the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I'm not stopping. I'm not like giving up. I'm not
Yeah, like
if I
you're gonna
can't
have to
breathe,
get me.
yeah, if I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I'm still gonna come forward. So, you know, the lesson was definitely learned.
No, that's beautiful, man. Now, saying that, how has training under Roger influenced your philosophy about what jujitsu should be versus what it's become, or any interpretations of how modern jujitsu is evolving? You know, and that can be personally or stylistically.
I don't know, man, because I definitely train with Roger's dad more.
Right.
You know, I definitely train with Maurizio more just because
Then
obviously
break
like
that down. Yeah.
just because you know, Roger's like all around the world
Yeah, yeah. He's the
in
guy.
seminars and you know, often when we do have time together, we've got so much business to discuss that
Hmm.
we don't always get the chance to train.
Fair.
Um, um, but I look, I think this is with Maurizio and with Roger that they're both really honorable people,
Yeah.
and they're both very kind of old school. You know, like Roger's had some amazing rivalries, but you've never heard him talk bad of anyone.
Yeah. You know, I felt that especially when I saw his interview with Lex Friedman.
Yeah.
Found
Well,
such
that's
beauty.
why we were in Austin.
If you have never seen Roger Gracie on Lex Friedman, especially how he describes his match with Buchecha, like, man, that in itself is beautiful.
Yeah. But that is actually why we were in Austin because he was filming that podcast.
Mm.
But yeah, that was an amazing trip.
Now, let's talk about the Gentle Apparel line for a bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
you know,
yeah, it's gentle art
Gentle
apparel.
Art. Sorry, I always I say Gentle Apparel all the
You,
time. I don't know
you
why.
abbreviate.
Don't know why. I'm sorry. Um, like, what gap were you trying to fill in the market when you made that line, when you came together with this line? Because I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of people getting it wrong, especially in
Yeah.
the early days, because they were trying to make it look cool and or violent and or whatever. And like, your line is so classy. How did this come together?
Well, I don't think any of us are really that into violence for the first side of it.
But
You
the
know, like
marketing
I'm not.
around the fashion always kind of has been. It's like a
Yeah,
skull
like
with a bat sitting on it, drinking a beer, and
yeah, I I I don't want to wear something that represents me as a particularly violent person
yeah,
because I'm not. You know, like I love jujitsu. Uh, you know, I enjoy watching like striking arts, but like
yeah,
you take it outside of a controlled sports environment, I've got no interest
yeah,
whatsoever in fighting someone on the street. I've got no interest in being perceived as tough. You
yeah,
know, I just don't care.
yeah.
And you know, man, I'm not a designer in like the truest sense of the word, but I'll kind of go, what do I want to wear?
Mm,
You know, so it's like I try to only make, and it comes back again, like I was saying before, of like having to work within your passions.
yeah, yeah,
So I have to be excited about the process of like making stuff is long, you know, from like an original idea to getting the design down to getting it produced and getting it, in your hands,
Mhm,
that's a lot of work.
mhm.
And again, you've got to be excited for that parcel to arrive.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so it's literally like everything we do. I try to look at it as like, do I want to wear this? There's a lot of homages there to things,
right,
you
right.
know, like classic kind of Americana and Ivy style.
Dude,
Is there? There's a lot of like
yeah,
college style,
I see it. I have that's
right?
my favorite sweater, right?
Yeah, yeah, mine
The
too.
green one. I love that sweater. And let me tell you, I don't think that I have another piece of clothing in years that I get as many compliments on as that
Yeah,
sweater.
but that style to me though comes from like youth crew hardcore.
Yes,
It,
that's
does- it,
true.
it doesn't come from me being into like Ivy League schools.
I said,
It
yeah,
comes
it
from
was the same way. When I was getting my GED, I was wearing Oxford sweaters to my
yeah,
GED
yeah,
classes.
yeah. That's the kind of connection to me is like I was into those bands like Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits,
Yeah.
and they all adopted that kind of a little bit more of a classic preppy style.
You know, that happened big in hip hop too. Like I would say
Well, even like early Kanye.
mid 80s, a lot of hip hop people, right? Like even the fashion hip hop stuff where every dude was wearing polo all the time,
Yeah, yeah,
all the little Ralph Lauren. You always hear
yeah,
Sean Price, R.I.P. Sean Price,
yeah.
always talking about, you know,
And then you had like the whole low life, like Ralph culture in New York,
yeah, yeah,
and that whole thing, and yeah, like mate, Ralph's a big influence.
yeah,
Always will be because like when Ralph was like himself in charge,
yeah.
man, it was pretty spectacular.
I mean, to the top,
Yeah,
to the top.
yeah,
Now, as you now here's what's deep. Like you make but you also have these new geese, right? You have these geese that you're uh
yeah.
finding
So
like you're catching up with like Japanese gi companies and doing stuff. When I was at
yes,
the warehouse, you showed me some cool stuff. Can you share some of that?
yeah. So we did that. So we do a collab every year with a brand in Japan called Bedouin and the Heartbreakers.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Beppe, who's the main guy there, he's a black belt. He trains at Carp DM, and a friend of mine in Tokyo put us in touch. And he's a big fan of Rogers. And then he introduced me to this brand Brigade,
I don't know.
and it's like they hand make gis in Tokyo. I think the guy who owns it, I might, I don't quote me on this, but
Yeah.
I think his family have been making judo gis for like generations. So like it's like got some history to it.
Yeah.
Um, it's a really beautiful gi. It's it was really scary because it was crazy expensive. Like just from the cost of production and then shipping and
Right. Just
input tax.
getting it made. Just getting it
Yeah,
made.
yeah. So look, it's crazy money, I know, but we were retailing them at £400. Because by the time you add up all those things, even at that, there's not a huge markup for us on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's about
and
quality, the clarity of brand,
yeah, it's
the
like some
authentic
look
look and feel.
some things you do to make money, and some things you do because it's just such a cool thing you've got to do it.
Yeah.
And this was very much a cool thing to do. And yeah, we sold out. So you know,
Dude, I knew when I saw it, that wouldn't be sitting around on the shelf.
yeah,
Like,
like we didn't do many just because of the price point.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We didn't order like 200 or something.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I think we have like one left, which was the one that like we kind of photographed for
yeah,
the
yeah,
for the
yeah.
factories. So there's one left, even though the website says sold out. But we might put that on Instagram, see if anyone wants it. It's an A2, so yeah.
I
But
gotta
that
put a stone,
that was a really
put a
fun
stone so
project.
I can get in.
that was a really fun project, though. You know, we're going to do a black version in the coming months.
Can I ask you, like, what are some of the bigger challenges in building a fashion brand that authentically represents both street culture and martial arts values, you know, and this college culture? Like, there's all these like these weird balancing points that I feel you're landing on so soundly. So sometimes I
There's
think in my brain, what is he thinking when he brings this stuff together? Because it's working. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but like, you know, the new collection, which is launching later this week, I think is like a lot more hip hop.
My boy.
So, and it's like a little bit more graphic.
Right.
You know, and there's some Wu-Tang references in there, and things like that. Um, so, you know, it flows as well. You
Yeah.
know, there's like different elements to different parts of it. Um,
I'm so
I think
excited about who inspires you in fashion because you know so much of it.
the um like Ralph Lauren, without a doubt,
Yeah.
is one of like the biggest influences. I really love Stone Island.
Okay. I don't know it. I
So
don't know. I'm not a fashion guy, but I
yeah,
know it when I see it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So like Stone Island is like an Italian brand who very make probably like the best jackets in the world.
Really?
But that really got adopted by British football culture.
Mm.
So it was somewhat adopted by football hooligans.
Okay.
It was like, you know, the big thing, but it was very much a thing of like one-upmanship.
Yeah.
And what happened was in the 80s, where Liverpool and Manchester United would be going to play in Europe, their supporters would go with them and they'd steal it from like the Italian shops and bring it back. But then it's like, I've got this thing that no one else has got.
Right.
You know, it's this
And
total like,
everybody loves that in
yeah,
fashion.
yeah,
What? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And but you know, from that theft, it's one of the biggest brands in the UK. You know, and but the reason I love it is not that. In fact, that side of it actually puts me off it because, like I said, I'm not into
You're not.
violence and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not into
yeah.
being tough. But the way they use fabric, the way they use dye, the innovativeness of what they do is just unbelievable. You know, it's crazy, and that's what I love about it. You know, I love the construction, I love the fabric, I love the colors, you know, all these things. It's just amazing. So, you know, the Paul Harvey and Massimo Ossi, who were like the original kind of designers for that, they're huge influences on me. I've got a lot of pieces. But like even this morning, I was looking through, like, I've got this big coffee table book on Stone Island, and I was
Mm,
looking through that, and the inspiration there is just crazy.
bro. Bro, you make me want to come to London right now and just train and go get some coffee and talk about like I just want to
Yeah,
be there. It's such a great city. You know, London is such a great
right.
city for fashion. It's such a great city for music and food
It's,
and these
mate, it's such a great city for everything.
bro,
You know,
bro. I
it's
mean,
it's mate, it's for me, it's London, New York, Tokyo.
yeah, I have not been
Yeah,
to Tokyo. God willing, please, Bismillah, make that happen. Inshallah, make that happen. I need to get there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, but
But
you know, you're
those are my three spots.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
No, I mean,
and
I'm pretty sure I'll feel the same once I get to Tokyo. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
there's other cities that I love. You know, like I love LA, I love San Diego, I love San Francisco, I
Yeah,
love Paris. You know, these are all amazing
Paris.
places.
Come on, man.
I love Chicago. You know, all place. Boston. What a
Dude, I
place!
think Boston is totally underrated as a dope
No,
ass city.
it's an
Totally
amazing place.
underrated. Am I right?
I've spent loads of time there. I've got loads of good friends there. Great place.
The best
Yeah.
Brazilian food I ever had in my life, my friend.
I
Oh,
I I really really love it there. I've got a lot of friends in New Hampshire and a lot of friends in Salem,
yeah.
um, from like playing in hardcore bands and being on the road and stuff like that. So
And I
yeah.
love that, dude. Now, because you're pulling from hardcore music, hip hop culture, high level jujitsu history and fashion, how do all of these things from such apparently different worlds inform each other in your creative process?
Well, it's it's just, again, I hate to keep coming back to this word, but it's passion. You
Yeah.
know, and like none of these things are like, all of these things are life.
Hmm.
You know, all of these things are, it's not like I'm into hardcore because I find some little bit that I can take from it from here and put it into here.
Right. It's
And
not about the transactional,
no, and
right?
it's like it's not like, oh well, I love hip hop because I can take this and I can put it here,
Mhm.
and I can take this little thing from jujitsu and build something. It's like that something exists because of all of those things. You
Right.
know, it's not kind of, it's not taking from it. It's what it is.
I love that. It's not taking from it, it's what it is, bro.
Yeah, because you know, man, I'm 47. I'm still a hardcore kid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you said to me, how do you identify? I
Yeah.
identify as a hardcore kid. I still go to hardcore shows every chance I get. I'm the old guy stood at the back. You
Have you ever
know,
seen Cro-Mags? Have you ever been to a Cro-Mag show?
I've seen Cro-Mags a few times. Yeah, yeah.
How do you like those shows?
I love those shows, man. And like I've seen like both iterations of the current. You know,
Right. Right.
I've seen the like the JJ and Mackie, and I've seen Harley.
Yeah.
Um, the weird thing is, man, like Harley's one of my, again, one of my heroes, and I've never met him, but obviously through so many people, I'm like one step away.
Yeah.
So one day I'm at the academy and I've got this Cro-Mags towel. It's like a beach towel,
Okay.
and I'm there with Hiron Gracie, who
Yeah.
I train with. I train with a lot, actually. I really need to give him a shout out because he's really helped my jiu-jitsu journey. And like I loved his dad. I was a huge fan of his dad, and mate, that young man is just going to change the world, man. He
I
is going
love
to change the world.
that is
He's
amazing.
amazing. Um, you know, huge. It's so funny to be my age and to learn so much from somebody so young, but
Yeah.
to be as wise and to be as on it as he is at that age, my God, I would I would have
Crazy.
loved to have been so on it. You know, it's like he's a really wonderful person. But
Wait a
he's looking at it and he's like, Cro-Mags. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's like, it's my friend Harley's band. And I was like, yeah, yeah, because Harley used to teach the kids' classes at Henzo's.
He did, exactly. He's the
Yeah,
first person. Quick note. So back in the day, I was kind of the unofficial music supervisor for On the Mats DVDs. So I used to do,
right.
you know, 101 submissions, volume one, volume
Yeah,
two. So, I did a lot of that music, but I did the hip hop,
yeah,
right? And Gumby and Scotty, and I think Danny Do Nothing, uh, did the hardcore. So when you watched the gi, it was all hip hop, and that
yeah,
was
yeah.
me pulling stuff from my friends, right? And then the no gi was all hardcore, and that was Scotty Gumby, and so I always knew that Harley trained with Henzo, and I had read different articles about him and conversations with Henzo. So that's incredible.
Hey, that's a wild dude. That's,
Isn't there a new documentary or something coming out on them?
yeah, I can't wait to see it, man. I
It's
can't wait to
gonna
see
be
it.
bonkers, dude. It's gonna be
No,
bonkers.
I I I love that guy. Like that guy, you know, all those guys, man. Like if ever there was like everyone in the UK is going crazy about this Oasis reunion at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cro-Mags is the reunion that I really want.
Oh, that's fair. That's
You know,
fair. Now, if it's one thing that I can say that immediately attracted me to you, and shout out to Don, right?
yeah,
Because
you got to
like
mention.
this this podcast is brought to you by the hidden hand that stirs the drink. Huh?
Yes.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about him for a minute.
Oh, just one of the best dudes ever.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know, that's my brother.
we met through a guy who passed away online, Paul Morin, who used to run I think it was called Open Mat Radio podcast. And we met, I was on his podcast and we started talking, and then he was connected to Paul, and so we just stayed in tune for years. And then when I started finally, I had no idea I'd be out in London. I had no idea, I
Yeah.
had no intentions. And then as soon as I started coming out there, we connected, and then he connected us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a
There's,
beautiful life, man.
oh man, I'll tell you, man. There's two people who I met at my time managing Rogers Academy who I felt really, really blessed to have met. And one is yourself, because it's one of those things, and this doesn't happen like that often in life, but like you meet someone and instantly you're brothers.
Yeah. That day,
It's just
bro,
like,
walking
yeah,
through the city, getting food, just oh my God. I
yeah,
got goosebumps right now.
yeah. It's just straight away you meet someone and like boom, it's like, all
You
right,
know.
we're there. There was another guy I met there whose name is Krishna,
Okay.
who he was a soldier. So he was a Gurkha. He came from the Gurkha regiment,
Okay. Yeah.
came to the UK, and was the first ever Gurkha to join the SAS, which is our
Wow.
like most elite
Yeah.
military service. Uh,
Familiar.
kind of like the equivalent of a Delta Force, I guess,
Yeah,
or
like
like,
SEAL Team 6 type stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like our elite soldiers. So he became. So it's really hard to get into the Gurkha regiment. Not
Oh,
many people make it into the Gurkha regiment, and then to get into that, he gets into the SAS, and he was in charge of all their mountain operations.
okay.
And he has since retired from the army and spends his life doing charitable work.
Mm.
And his main thing is he takes soldiers who have lost their legs to the top of Everest.
Bro, don't make me cry on this show, bro.
And Krishna, man, he's just amazing. And but he's just one of these people that like you meet, and it sounds cheesy when you say it, but like his aura is just amazing. It's he trains a little jujitsu with us as well. But when he does, he always does like some breath work with us, either at the beginning or the end of the class. And man,
People hate on me for doing that. I do a little bit of that in my classes.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes I do a little bit too much hate. And you know what I think? I think like people don't understand how one grounding breath work is in and of
yeah,
itself. I think the other part of it too is that I don't think I was thinking about this morning. I swear, Allah is my witness. I was thinking, I think the reason so many people hate on the idea of breath work being in your jujitsu class or think it's weird is because they already don't understand that when you even decide to roll, let alone decide to fight, probably the first thing you'll lose is your breath.
yeah, yeah.
You lose your breath, you lose your connection to your mind and your body, and everything
100%.
there.
100%. And having someone who's had, I suffer with asthma and I've had breathing problems all my life. The second you can't breathe, you're not thinking about what's going on in that match. You're thinking about breathing.
It's
You're not thinking like, oh, if I turn this way, he might grab my arm, or if
mm-hmm,
I turn this that way, the Kimura's there. You're
mm-hmm.
just thinking, I need to be somewhere where I can get a breath.
Yeah.
You
Yo,
know,
I remember before I was really because I was doing yoga for years, but I wasn't really thinking that deeply about breath work. And I definitely wasn't conscious of my breathing and my rolls. I remember being a purple belt training at Heroes, where Gumby, my instructor, who gave me my black belt, we were training. I hadn't seen him for a while, but I had been training on my own, doing a bunch of different stuff. And I was in a great zone, I thought.
mm, yeah,
And
yeah,
so I came to class, had some good rolls, and he was like, "Oh, let's have a roll." And I was like, I'm about to throw everything at him. I mean, everything. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? And I did. And I was mauled horribly. And
He's your Junyao.
I was like, damn, right? Like I almost thought I was somewhere. And when we were done, he said, yeah, you're improving. You know how like you get murdered and then they tell you how good you're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're improving definitely. Whatever you're doing, you should keep doing it. He said one thing though, and I was like, what? He was like, right before you would attack me, your breathing would change, and that's how I knew it was coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, at that point, you're just like Yoda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sensei. Like, yo, like breathing, and these are the things that I think people outside jujitsu, and definitely I think white and blue belts specifically, they don't understand the importance of that. They don't understand its importance. And so I think it's beautiful. Say that man's name again.
Krishna.
I think Krishna is amazing, and I hope to meet him one time when I'm out there, man. Because
Yeah, next time you're over, I'll try and set it up. And he does these amazing kind of like, I've never been. I really want to go.
yeah,
Um, but he does like these kind of forest walks, sort of
really,
things, and like yeah, it'll I don't know, man. To everyone, it might sound all a bit hippie-ish, but like, mate, this dude's had a life, you know.
no, dude, I believe it. Now,
It's funny actually because I have a couple of other friends who've served in the same regiment as him,
mm,
and I won't I can't say names because they're
I know, I understand.
still serving. But one of them phones me up and he says, "I hear you've been hanging out with Krish," and I said, "Yeah, man, what a guy." And he said to me, "Look, forget all his hippie shit. If you're in a tight spot, that's the man you want
That's the
stood
man.
next
That's
to.
the man you want on deck.
That's the one you want stood next to you."
Yeah. No, man. I okay, so real quick, this is because I have to ask you this because it speaks to the spirit of my friendship and care for you. It speaks to your jujitsu, and it also speaks to your branding, your clothing brand. So like if someone wanted to live more authentically, right? Whether in their training, in their creative expression, or in their business, what is the most important lesson that you've learned from combining these influences in your journey?
But you've just got to be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's the only person we really have to answer to, and even if you believe in a god or a
Right.
deity, that's inside you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's just about being true to yourself. And I've found that every time I haven't been true to myself in anything I do, anytime I've done anything for any reason other than trying to do something good or interesting, I failed.
Mm,
It's like anytime I've ever tried to do something just for like financial gain, it's never worked out.
yeah,
But every time I've tried to do something good,
yeah,
where the aim is let's make something good, let's do something good, let's put our all into something. That's when things have worked out for me.
dude, that's so cool. That is so
Yeah.
cool. Now,
So I guess what I'm saying is never make the superficial your aim.
yeah, no, man, I'm so grateful to you, man. Sometimes like I still trip off all of the beautiful people I've gotten to know, all the places I've been able to travel, all the things I've been blessed to see just because I said yes to jujitsu and stayed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All the things you've got to do just because you said yes and stayed.
yeah. And like jujitsu, man, there's levels, you know. And mate, I'm hands up. I'm a hobbyist. You know, I'm I train if I'm lucky, 3 or 4 times a week.
Right.
I'm a relatively new father, so like time isn't what it used to be.
Right.
Mate,
Because
I'm
when you're
never,
trying to do jujitsu with kids, come on.
yeah, mate, I'm never gonna win the mundials.
Me
You
either.
know, that's it's that's not gonna happen. There are probably competitive blue belts who would smash me, but
Same.
I love jujitsu. I love what it's done for me in my life, and I recommend it to everyone. And
Yeah.
there's a group of people, who I've gotten into jujitsu who it's changed their lives. You know, and it's a very powerful thing, and it's also like there's some real strange bonds you make with people who you fight.
Yeah.
You know,
Is it about that? I mean, I think it's a level of seeing into another person.
yeah,
See
like
you
they
more
think that,
because we clash like this. And I'm this
yeah,
way with chess too.
yeah, yeah,
If I play chess with you, I feel like I know you on a deeper level. If I roll with you, I feel like I know you on a deeper level. And that level of experience of knowing removes my ability to be phony, fraudulent, or whatever. Not that that's a natural aspect of my being, but it makes whatever shells I might have put up without rolling or chess fall away so we can just be ourselves.
yeah. And if you sort of think of it, think of like back when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
and you get into a fight in the playground, and then the fight gets broken up, and the next day you're in school and you see that person and you're suddenly best friends.
You're way nicer. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, so hey man, whether you won or lost,
Yeah, yeah,
nine
yeah, it's
times
true.
sometimes someone's just an asshole and they're still an asshole, but 9 times out of 10, it's like you kind of bond over that
Yeah.
experience, and yeah, it's like we have a great class on a Wednesday and a Friday that Maurizio takes, and it's invite only,
Mm,
and we're called the Once Were Warriors, and it's all the older guys.
mm, mm.
I feel that sometimes the rest of the club kind of look at us because sometimes they'll come in and we're all just chatting or having
Yeah,
a laugh and everything.
yeah.
But man, when we roll,
It's
like
real,
we
homie.
all, mate, we go for it.
Yeah,
We and it's one of those classes. You can go as hard or as light as you want, but most of the guys I go with, we go hard.
they're gonna go after. Yeah.
And
I remember,
those are my brothers.
I remember one time I was playing chess with my dad, and I had gotten to this really strong position, and he looked at me. I'll never forget it because he said it so calm. He looked at me after I moved, and he goes, "Son, I may be a lion in winter." And then he picks up a piece and he moves it, and he goes, "But I am still a lion." And little by little, my whole position crumbled and I got checkmated. And it was the coolest way to die.
It's funny. I had a similar experience last Wednesday. I was rolling with my friend Kaz,
Uh,
and man, he put it on me. Like it was just one of those rolls where like I felt so weak and he
yeah,
felt so strong, and he got himself into a really good position, and he nearly choked me out like twice, but I
yeah.
managed to like
Weather.
contain and weather through it. And then he left the choke and he went to my arm. And the second he grabbed my arm, I turned to him and I went, "You're fucked, mate."
Right.
I went, you just made the mistake
Key
that I've been
mistake.
waiting for. He went for the armbar. I managed to like
Get
come
out.
up and like get on top when he went for it. And I just like smothered him. And I think I got him with a wrist lock, if I remember correctly. but he sort of said to me, he said, "That moment when you turned to me, I knew it was done."
Yeah, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, Yo, man,
yeah.
I want to say thank you for making time for Bishop Chronicles. I'm so grateful. How can people get a hold of you and where can they check out the clothing line?
So you can hit me up on Instagram, Benjamin _Glyn_Phillips,
That's
and
me. Lyn, right? Or
Glyn.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was my grandfather's name. And you can check out gentleartapparel.com.
Yeah. And go get and see some of the coolest fashion jujitsu fashion has ever had, and ever will. So, man, thank you so much. I look forward to
Thank you,
catching
my
up
friend.
with you next time. I'm out in London. Jordan, salute to you again for
Yeah,
being the man that stirs the drink and making conversations like these possible. I need to bring him on. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Him
he'd be a
on.
great conversation.
Know what I'm saying? And and thank you, the viewers and listeners for checking in with Bishop Chronicles. Please subscribe. Please, I encourage you to do a paid subscription. I know money is tight. I know everything is weak right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in America, right? But man, it helps me do things like this and bring guys like this and their wisdom into the discussion. And please share it with your friends, man. Please share it with your friends. Thank you so much, Ben. I look
Great
forward.
to speak to you.
I'm so grateful to you for the wisdom you shared with me, for the people you've introduced me to. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Frith Street Tattoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, bro, like so many cool people and experiences. The stuff I have on my leg is in part because of you.
Yeah, man. Well, putting someone like you and Miles together is
Yeah,
always
bro.
a good thing. It's always
Miles,
good to introduce good people.
such a great soul, and he reminds me of some of my other friends. Like I got a friend named Alex Asher Daniel. He just dropped a new album um that just went up. It's got Dell on it. It's got Pep Love from Hieroglyphics. It's got all these amazing souls on it. I'll send it to you. But there's something about Alex and Daniel, their spirit and the way they kind of look, like they remind me of each other, and I'm so grateful to have both of them in my life. Grateful to have you in my life, man.
Appreciate it, man. We didn't even get time to talk about the new Clips record.
I know.
Next time.
I
Next time.
know. Um, but I agree with you. Let's
Yeah.
just talk about it. So I asked him, "What you think about the new Clips record?" And this dude knows his hip hop. He knows all kinds of music. And what did you say?
I said it sounds like a record that was made by rich people.
Yeah, and I think that that's a new era of hip hop, right? Where now we have like elitist hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Um, where we have these people who have broken through, who have cult followings, who have created all these deals, but then what they have starts to feel apart. And that don't mean that I don't like the album. You also said there was too
It's
many
really I think
mid-tempo beats, and I
it's
agree with you.
yeah,
I wanted to
it's
hear a little bit more drive, and maybe that's not what happens when you become at their level.
yeah, it was a bit like for me, like I said, it was a bit too mid-paced.
Yeah,
There's a couple of bangers,
yeah, some real ones, but
like a couple of bangers, but just man, I wanted it all for the street.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I just wanted those table flippers
And
that
and you feel like guys like them at their level don't have to be mid.
no,
Like because they can, right? But then, the other thing is and sometimes, and I know this is complete hip hop blasphemy, I feel that way with some of the Griselda stuff.
right.
And I
Yeah.
do love it, but the
Yeah.
the farther I go back into it, the more I feel that grime and that grit and whatever. And then like everything becomes, you know, a
Yeah.
Paris runway. And that don't mean that it's not hard or whatever, but like I don't know, there's something to what you're saying. And I think that I don't want to hate on it, but I don't think it expresses the best of what hip hop has in it. That's all I'm saying.
There's that one track on there. It's called MTBTTF.
Yeah. The Mike
Man,
Tyson.
that song
Oh,
I've probably listened to like over 100 times already. That
yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's what I wanted,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
like
That's hard.
if you go back to like I know it's like a Pusha T record, not a Clips record, but like you listen to like Daytona
Yes.
and like every song is so hard,
Yep.
like so hard.
Bang.
And I guess I wanted the same for this, and maybe it's just going to take me some time to get into the album. I'm not hating.
Yeah,
Like I
I'm
love,
not hating either. I'm not hating either, but I think that you're speaking to something that is happening in hip hop, like for sure, man.
yeah, I love those guys like so much. That, to be honest, there's not much modern hip hop that I really like, but I
Okay,
like them.
when we do part two, we're gonna lean into way more into hip hop because we gotta have some. So I want to have album conversations and concert
Yeah.
conversations. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do the next one, man. God bless you and
Sounds good, brother.
have a
Be
beautiful.
well.
Give everyone on the team my best, and
Will do.
see Jordan, give him a hug for me. Okay,
I will. I will. Speak to you soon.
brother.
Bye.
Yeah.